Hey guys, it's Michelle with Michelle Creations. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you guys are new here. I am excited to start part 3 of the Altered Little Golden Book. We went ahead in the first 2 videos and we deconstructed the book. We acquired the guts of the book. We also secured the border, and then I actually walked you through at least the first punches. So if you haven't seen those, definitely watch those before you start this video. But basically, I went ahead and sewed in all of the ribbon or twine that I acquired, and then I also put everything in order as to how I want it to go. So we're gonna go ahead and basically go page by page and cinch it. So I definitely wanted to share with you, when you don't have a page that is exactly the length of the book, what typically to do, even though I kind of went over that briefly toward the end of the last video. And then I figured after we're done with that, then hopefully we have some time to do some ephemera. So that's really what I'm hoping to get done this hour, and then the rest of the walkthrough will be on Friday to see the final product. So I'm really excited to complete this book. So let's go ahead. What we're gonna do is get the cinch machine out, and I'm going to give you more of a better view of the table. So we're gonna go ahead and unlatch this. Now always be careful with that, because I did a mistake once where I unlatched it and didn't hold it down and it like sprung up, and thankfully nothing got damaged. But if you're nearby, you don't want to ruin your phone, your camera, anything that's in that spring. Why is this not going down? In that spring area. And then this little thing here, actually, there we go, actually goes down so it tucks in nicely. Now, what we did in the second video, I kind of shared with you what I'm doing with the cinch machine. Now, again, I do have the regular one, so it's that big giant one where you can manipulate your punches, meaning which holes are going to be punched and which ones aren't. If you have the mini cinch machine, you cannot do that function, along with the size of your binding is not the same capacity as to this one. This one actually lets you go all the way up to, I think it's 1 1/4. I can't see from here, but it does let you go up higher than the mini cinch machine. So again, if you're still on the fence about which one to purchase, definitely think about your future projects or your intention behind it before investing in this machine, because both are pricey, not gonna lie, unless you're able to score one of those mini cinches during the Hobby Lobby clearance hauls that was going on, where I think they marked them down to $29, which I think was a great deal. So we're gonna go ahead and confirm that I have punches 1 through 4 punched. 5 through 8 are pulled out, so they're not going to be punched, and then 9 through 12 are going to be punched, so they're pushed in. And then I also discussed briefly as to the measurements of the ruler. So for this particular one, I strongly urge you to do a sample run to make sure it is where you want it to be, depending on your size of your book, because every book is made or sized differently. For my particular one that I selected, I am actually having the 2 rulers meet. I'm using the 12-inch marker as my meeting point, and so I do it in between the 6 5/8 and the 6 3/4. So whatever that measurement is, I'm really hoping you guys can see it. So that little, I wish I could do this a lot better. I can't. It's like I get the shadow on one side and then it doesn't work on the other side. So right here, this little marker right here. Hopefully that helps you guys. But I will put in the description box below. If I figure out the measurements exactly, I will let you know. But you basically just want it vertical, no, horizontal, horizon, no, vertical. I gotta remember every little section so I make sure I'm telling you the right stuff. So you definitely want it vertical to each other. So the 12-incher and then that little mark in between. That is what's going to be my measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and take my book, and what I like to do is flip as I move it so I don't lose my spot. So this is going to be my front, so I'm definitely going to put that off to the side, which you probably cannot see given the angle. Let me see if I can slide all of this down. so you can definitely see where I'm placing them off to the left hand side. So we're going to start here with the first page. Now this is going to be the exact same size, so I definitely do not have to change anything. So we'll do the first couple pages together with you. So as you can see, it punches it perfect, and then I'm going to put it down exactly how it would be in the book. This is one of those pockets that I believe I showed you guys as to what we do. I just fold it in half and then I put glue on two sides, so it's now a pocket. What I should have done and probably didn't do, nope, too small, is grab your 1.5 inch circle punch and then basically just punch a little notch in it, so that way someone can see that it is a pocket. And now what I'm going to do is, I don't want to go into this one, and I should have paid attention, which I did not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the machine itself to try to hone in as to where the middle is, along with I'm looking at my pegs along with my paper to make sure that if my peg is going to be like this, hopefully you guys can see that, where it's off. So if I punch this right now, this peg would actually go off the page. You don't want that because your paper is now having flexibility, strength issues, and you don't want that. You want it to be sound. So to do that, you basically just want to kind of gauge visually. And for me, I can tell you that this is pretty much where I want it to be. And I moved it. Okay. And hopefully I did it on the right side. So you kind of get an idea. Yes, it went into the P for plan your best life, but I did have enough space up here and enough space down here, so the movement of it will have a good strength to the whole entire page. Okay, so then we're going to put it over on the other side. The most important thing is when you pick up your paper to know where your punch is, because if you pick it up and you punch on the wrong side, you now committed to that side and it might have been the side you did not want. So here's another one that is the same height of the page of the book. So again, we just punch it, and now I'm going to flip it, like if I'm flipping it in the book. Here is the pocket. So this pocket is obviously not going to be the same, what do you call it? Let's use this as an example. So this is the page in the book that we already punched out, I believe, in the second part of this series. You can kind of gauge if we were to go up against the ruler, right? This is what it will look like. If you wanted it at the top, since there is not a ruler marker here to break that, you would then have to figure out where to come down on your mechanism to make sure you get that spot. That's if you want it up high. If you want it in the center, this is where you may come into problems, because it would fit perfectly in between these two and these two. And you might, depending on how good you get that alignment, it might also hit this marker or this marker. So it's really your preference as to how you want to make it easy for yourself. I'm going to make it easy for myself, and I'm going to go straight to the bottom. So I'm going to go, again, lined up against the edge of my ruler that I've already created. I'm going to cinch it, so now you can see that when it goes into the book, it's going to be like this. Oh, because it's slightly moved. Great. There we go. That's why it was off, because it moved. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing. So I'll do a few more real quick, and then I will then take a break and go off camera and then punch them all, and that way I felt like it was a pocket, and that way we can then cinch it, and then we're going to flip it. This one's already done. Here's another page. So again, it's figuring out, here's a book page. It's figuring out where it's gonna go. So do I want it centered? So let's do that with this one. We're gonna center it. How we're gonna do that is I'm gonna be very careful in watching where the edges are. And again, I'm trying to line it up with this edge, not the machine itself, to see if I can get it where it will punch perfectly across the board. And there you go. So it's just about eyeing it. Take your time. If you're unsure, make little tiny ticks if you want, but you can kind of gauge where the punch will be based on the mechanism. And obviously doing this on camera, you can't really see. If you were to tilt your head, you would definitely be able to see better than me trying to explain it. Did this move again? No. There we go. And if you made a mistake, this one, do I have anything in here yet? No. So again, the same thing with this. Definitely see what is an option. Do I want to bring this up higher? Do I want to make it even if I brought it down? So let's do that. So I'm going to try to line it up with this number 10. And basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to pay attention to where 11 is going to come down. And I'm moving my envelope so that it is in between these two notches. So if you're looking at it sideways, which I obviously can't show you at this angle, you're gonna definitely see how there is a gap in between these two. And by doing that, you can kind of gauge, again, trial and error. If you're unsure, that's okay. And you can see I could have gone a little bit up, but I didn't. But you can definitely see it's still giving me that movement, okay? So it's just making, you know, different changes with it and just going from there. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off for a moment and punch the rest. When you're working, oh, one more thing. When you're working with flaps, I strongly suggest to open up the full page. Therefore, in case your flap shouldn't be punched, but might have been punched, because as you fold it, you know, you're not going to have that. You never know. It's always good to just check into things and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and punch the rest of these as I just stated, and then I will be right back. All right, so I went ahead and punched them all. And now we're gonna go ahead and we are going to cut our cinch binding wires. So this is when you got to figure out what color, depending on if you had multiple colors. I think I'm gonna still go with black. So I am going to take out a black one. It's like a slinky. That's what it feels like. And then you're gonna want to have some binding cutters. And now we need 4 and 4. So basically you're just gonna count out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what you're gonna cut is this part in here. So you just wanna find the middle and then cut that. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna cut it on the other side. So essentially, you have 4 little hooks, and then you're cutting on the edge or the outer side of that, where that hook is, okay? And now you're going to place it in here on the side of your cinch machine. And both cinches has this format, okay? And then this is when I just take one a page to make sure it lines up, which you can see it does not. So I need to move that one over. Nope. Over again. You basically just want to make sure it makes your life easier. So now this is the most important step. Well, every step is, I guess, important. But in order to get it to curve correctly, you're taking the last page, which is the back of the book, and you're doing like a deck of cards, and you're just bringing it to the surface, okay? That's essentially all you're doing. Now, the next step you're gonna do, this is the part I get really annoyed with. We're going to flip it this way. Okay, so let's go backwards again. Okay, so this is how your book is going to be once it's cinched. You're gonna take the back page, so the back of your book, and you're gonna put it on top, exactly like this. Then you're gonna take the entire book and you're gonna flip it to the right. The reason being is because now you're gonna take each page one by one, and you're going to essentially now flip it to the left and put it on your brackets. Okay, so you're basically doing it backwards. The reason why I do this way is so I make sure everything is in the right direction. Okay, because this is at the time where if you put something in the wrong direction, you can change it, or the placement. So this is when you're just going section by section. Again, take your time. There's no rush at all. And let's work. Okay. This is also when you want to make sure that your pages are in the right numbered order. Because if you, for some reason, you know, your cat dropped everything on the floor, or a wind gust for some reason, because your windows were open, came in and threw everything on the floor. You know, whatever Mother Nature could possibly do. Okay, so this one, I did this on purpose. I have 4 on this side and 3 on this side. So I need to make sure I'm putting it in the right holes. So again, you're just going page by page, once I can get this page, and you're just going through and doing it all. Okay. This one, the same thing. I punched it where 4 is on one and 3 is at the bottom. And you're again just going through all of them. I'm pretty sure you don't need to see me doing this, but I feel like it might be important only because for some reason, I feel like when we do things off camera, I especially am one that if I don't see it, I'm like, wait, what happened? What did I miss? So I like to show you the whole process so you don't get confused or feel like you missed something, because I think it's important to see it. So you can fast forward me if this bores you. I have no problem with that at all. So we're just gonna go section by section, page by page. And when I was punching off camera, I accidentally punched a 2 pages together without realizing it. Thankfully, the punch actually was in the same hole, but I was very like, oh no, because I've never done that yet. So I was like, I don't want to have to make a correction here. And I'm glad that it worked out the way it's supposed to. If for some reason something goes awry where you basically put something upside down or in the wrong spot, you can take these apart, although I don't know if you can reuse them. I haven't tried the reusing portion, but the ones that I did have an issue with, I have not tried those yet. I wanted to use brand new ones for this video, so if I do end up using those, I will definitely let you know. So here, you kind of see where I grabbed the 2 pages, just to make sure that there was nothing in between. I definitely took them apart to make sure I'm grabbing what I needed. So this one has all 8 of them. And I don't think I shared with you all the ribbon I did, because I feel like I did that off camera. So when we're done cinching this, I will definitely share with you all the ribbon, unless you're seeing it as we're going through this. Okay, here's our little pocket. Here's that page. We're almost done. Here is that to do. Here is the last page. Here is our cover. And here is our back. So again, everything's in the right motion. So now the next step you got to do is carefully keep these on here. And we're going to kind of put them in the center so you can kind of see where it's centered, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. And we're gonna move it over to the back end. So this is the back where you're gonna cinch, all right? And you wanna make sure you have it on the right number, depending on the size of binding wire you're using. If you need to move it, you just push it down and then turn it, kind of like when you open those medicine bottles. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna definitely make sure that we have the back positioned like this. You don't want this upright, you want this flush with the back wall. That's very important, okay? So you wanna have it this way, where the little hook part is at the top and the other part that has the little loop-de-loo is at the bottom, okay? So this part you're pretty much not going to be able to see because it's at an angle, but I'm basically just going down and making sure that it's where it needs to be, and I'm just now crimping it. Okay. And now it is crimped. And now we are going to take this page and put it to the front. And now we have our binded book. And you can be done. If you don't want to be done, you can definitely add more ephemera. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. But first I wanted to share with you real quick all of the, let me take this out of the way. All of the ribbon that I use. So this is pretty much, it just ran away from me. This is pretty much all of the ribbon I use for this collection. I try really hard to choose different options, so I definitely have a variety. Some of them are new in the sense of being used, but basically what I did was I looked at the sheet of paper and I'm like, what ribbon do I have in my stash that would work complementary to it? And that's when I chose it. Now remember, we did the same as the front as well as the back. So in that situation, this is gonna have the front, right? And so the back of the book, so you can kind of see it, the back of the book is gonna have it toward the back. So when you look at it like this, even though that's not how you read a book, but I just find it pleasing to the eye. Looking at it like this, you definitely see symmetry. You see cohesiveness. You see, I don't know. Oh. So that's how I view it. You don't have to do it like that. That's not a right or wrong way. That's just my brain function. If you put it on the other side, is that gonna be a difference? No. Do you have to use the same fabric? No. I'm just trying to help you in regards to if you're trying to do a technique and you're wanting diversity in a book, create character in a book, don't complicate your life. Just add it in the front as well as the back. And that way you've already established 2 pages. Now you move on. So then I went to the next page that I did for the collection. So I only did the collection pages. Again, that was my choice. Did I have to do that? No, I just wanted simplicity for myself. Now, if you recall, in the first 2 weeks, I believe I also added like fabric swatches to like random sheets of paper that I took out from the 5 and Below books that I seem to be hoarding lately. So mix it up. Do what makes you happy. I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I've been working with in regards to finding something new, so I'm not in a constant robot mode, right? So with this, I did the same thing. I looked to see on the paper what kind of colors could I pull from, and then I found this nice mustard color. Why would I go for mustard? I don't know, but I wanted a variety of color palettes. So I chose that. Again, it was one of these in my stash. I think I got it, yeah. All these I probably got from the Hobby Lobby clearance hauls that I've been acquiring. And so again, I did the same thing. What I put on this page, if we go to the back, I have it on the same page, and again, the same concept. So the front of it, and then this one would have the back. All right, so that's again just like something to share with you. And so we'll go to this page. Now this one is brown tones, and I felt like let's tie in some color but also be a neutral. So I went through and I didn't want to choose black because I felt like black was maybe a little too harsh of a color in a contrast concept. So then I found this nice grayish jean color, and I just loved how it had that fray effect already embedded in it. And again, another Hobby Lobby clearance haul. And so another thing I want to point out to you as well is I didn't take the fabric 100% on top of the paper. You can do that. I chose not to. Why? Because I wanted to have it overhang, so when you close the book, you have a little bit of that peekaboo fabric coming through, because remember, the sides of the book, everything is squished to one side for the hole punching. So I'm adding essentially a little bit more to the page by extending that fabric. And then again, as you well have seen, I have done the stitching across all of it. This time around, I may not do the washi tape, we'll see. But if that bothers you, you could always, I don't know, you could probably put another fabric here if you wanted to cover that up. I think washi tape works great, but that's just my opinion. And then here is the envelope, right? Here is another page that was from the book, and I had this recent, it looks like jean material with this fun silver polka dots on it, and I thought it would type beautifully with this because I feel like this could be a great pattern on a shirt. So again, I did that here. I did it in the back. And then this one, I found this nice, I want to say like a rust, an orange rust color. And so again, it tied in beautifully. Now, could I have used, I think that grayish, no, there was another color I had. There was another color I found, but I was like, no, I like this color, even though I know I've used this in another book. But I thought it went really well. I know I've used this one before, but I really like that maroon color tied in with that background. And then this one here, I found this one, I thought that went really nicely with the little flowers, kind of brings in the color. And then this last one here, this one actually went to the edge because it didn't have a lot of space in the width of the material, but I just thought it was kind of fun, different, and you know, pattern to add into there. And then that brings us back to, again, all the other pages that you saw. So just something to share with you, because I don't think I talked about that in the other video. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna clear my desk to gather some embellishment stuff that we can do together, and then start creating. So gather any embellishment things that you have on hand, whether it's from your leftover collection, because remember, we still have all these pages that we have not yet used. Either we're going to use or we're not. And then we have all these stickers. Now, things with stickers, if you're not wanting to put them on your book, which I totally understand, you could definitely back it on top of cardstock of your color and then fussy cut around them. Definitely turn on a TV show and then just have at it. But it's nice to have additional ephemera, even if you're putting it in a little pocket in your book, just to have when you are creating, you have it already inside your book. And then the other thing I'm probably going to do off camera is grab some dies and die cut some paper so that we have, in regards to embellishments, I definitely do want to have a library card pocket here. I think it's kind of nice because I really don't like covering this. Again, my personal preference, because I feel like this keeps it authentic to what the Golden Book is. And if the person wanted to write their name, then they can write their name, you know, like I wanted to keep that way. And then the library card insert would be there. And then another thing you can always think about, this is a blank page, there's no pocket to this one, but if you wanted to create a pocket after the fact, you could definitely do a triangle pocket, add some glue to that, and then you have a tuck spot. The only thing you want to keep into account is that we've already punched everything, so anything we do add has to be avoided by these, because then you have to punch it again and you can't. Well, I guess you can. We would have to do the punch before you adhere it. and then open up a slit so it kind of like goes in. But I don't want to attempt that. I really like the book as is, and as you can see, having it as a 1-inch binder does give it a lot of movement and flexibility. So as the person creates in it, going up this high, which I think is like what, another 1/4 of an inch, still gives you enough room before it becomes like an alligator mouth kind of concept. So then the next question I also have, even though I know you can't answer me because it's recorded, is this one that I created as my sample. I definitely added ephemera. I added twine onto the side, and I was thinking with this book, instead of doing that, maybe we can do like a wraparound bow. So I'm not sure which route I want to go, but I definitely wanted to show you how I make these because I think that would be a lot of fun, and then maybe some cards. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna go grab my stuff, and I will be right back. All right guys, so I went through a lot of stuff, and we're just gonna play around for a few minutes in regards to building some ephemera. So what I did was I actually printed out some printables. I found these background with some skeleton bones, and I thought that would be kind of cool to add in there. I also found these background images that I thought would be kind of cool to create like postcards. So I think we're gonna do that as well. I also went, so these are 4 of them. This one, my printer didn't like that section, so this will be our dummy to see how we work that out. So for the postcard, I actually went through my stash and I found this Heidi Swap stamp set that I have not used yet, so we're gonna use it today. And then let's see, what else did I do? I cut out that 12 by 12 sheet of cut aparts, so I have those as well. We have the brain busters that we can like do something with it. When I went to Walmart during the back to school deals, I found this cute kids lunchbox notes, and like I tell you, sometimes you find things in the most weirdest spots when you're not even looking for it, but you just gotta walk around and see what catches your eyes. So I saw dinosaurs. This was the last one, and I just loved the imagery. Obviously it's intended for a child to have the parent give them well wishes for their school day, but like this one alone just has dinosaur feet and there's nothing on the back, and this is actually good cardstock. Like I want to say it's at least 65 pounds, so I thought this was kind of nice. It is a 4x4, no different than that size that I just printed out, so I thought if we need anything, we have those. I went through my washi and kind of found these. I thought I had Vicky Boone's Fernwood collection, which was like 2 years ago, but I couldn't find it. But these are butterflies, which I know are in some of the page books, and then this is like a wood grain, so just in case we need washi, I grabbed that. Then the 12 by 12 paper that had the border strips. I like these 2 pieces that I think we're going to embellish on the envelopes that we added. And then I grabbed 3 of these little doodads to make something with it. And what else? I think that's it. I did cut one of these because I wanted to show you how I put it together. And I think that's gonna get us started for now and see how far we get. I don't want the video to go too far, but it just kind of gives you some inspiration on what to do. Go through your stuff, see what you can find in your craft room, or if you're working on a project and you're going shopping, sometimes wander and just look at things. And like I said, trying to open your mind to see things beyond what the intention of that object is for, sometimes you will surprise yourself. So this is the library card that I actually use from the Elizabeth Craft Design. I believe their item number is 1984, and it's called Curved Library Pocket. And so I just use the library pocket as it is, but it does have additional dies in here. You can definitely make a cover to the front of it if you wanted to have embellishments. I went through the extra pieces of cardstock we had left over from the collection, and nothing jumped out at me. Because the page we are gonna be putting the library card is on this one, I didn't want it to be too chaotic with pattern. So I figure when we go through the stickers to embellish, in addition to what we're embellishing, we can see if we have anything to add to it, or the person who receives it can embellish it further. So let's get started. Definitely want to have some things on hand. I'm going to be using the Barely Art liquid glue. I did grab some ink. I will be using VersaFine black ink for when we do the postcard stamp. And then I did grab my Distress Oxide vintage photo, and then a recent purchase, which was antique linen, to kind of like distress the back of the paper, because the paper I did choose to print these out on are white, and I felt like that was too much of a contrast in regards to the front. So we kind of want to like just give it some old love but with ink. And let's see, anything else? I do have my corner puncher here just in case we want to round any corners. And I think that's, I mean, we might need some double, let me see, we might need some adhesive because of these little guys. So we'll see how far it goes. So let's do the pocket real quick. So this lovely thing will come out like this, and you do have these perforated score marks on both sides and the one at the bottom. Not sure if this is done correctly, but this is how I make this one. I definitely fold the bottom first, and I kind of give it that nice crease, and then I use my bone folder and kind of like secure that down so it has that nice sharp edge. Then the next thing I do is I actually then fold each side separately on that fold again, so you kind of see like a small indentation. I don't know if that is for anything specific, because I don't see anything on here that would be like a border or anything. I just think it's just the design of it. So I just go ahead and again just slightly like bend it, and eventually we'll fold on that crease. Now I am folding it behind, and the reason why I do it, because the first time I did this I folded it on the inside, and the reason why I fold it behind is because this back portion here is going to be attached to my paper. If I were to do it this way and put it down, what you're gonna have a problem with is that this portion here could possibly catch on whatever you're putting inside your pocket. If that doesn't happen to you, great. I just don't want to deal with it if it does, and I say if. So I'm gonna go ahead and again do the other side, so that way we have both creases down, and then again I fold it, and then you can definitely see there's like a little slight gap in between both. That I think is supposed to be like that. Now I am one that likes it to be perfect, and you just sometimes don't get it perfect. Either way, I'm gonna use my bone folder and press those things down on both sides, and then I am going to glue it. Now you could definitely use double adhesive tape on this, that's not a problem. I don't go too close to the edge, mainly because it's going to meet, let me show you, it's going to touch that other side on the inside, and I don't want that. So I'm not going so close to the edge, and then I'm just pushing it down. Again, if there's any excess glue, this is the part where you want to remove that. And then again, you see how it kind of, since it did not meet where that crease was, it gives me that extra little, I guess 1/8 of an inch of space. So we're gonna do the same thing. Again, you can see there is a gap there, and we definitely don't want the glue on this flap to meet that. So you don't want to go too close to the edge. Now, if you're using a different type of die, I would recommend to fold it, do a dry run, see where things touch. So therefore, when you have it nice and sealed like that, you're definitely going to see you're going to have that pocket, and you see nothing is sealed. Sometimes I don't know if it's showing on camera because of the shadowing. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the inside. Now, sometimes I do multiple things, and when I say multiple things, multiple functions. So Here we have the pocket that we're gonna put, and the reason why I chose this color was so it coordinates with the sides of the front and back that I chose in the color palette. Along with, I didn't want to add in another blue and just like, I don't know, I just felt like adding too many blues would be too many blues, although blue is my favorite color. I just was like, I didn't want to do too many. Here is where you can manipulate your function for a page. So there's nothing on here but this one pocket. Before you decide to put glue on everything, you could definitely think about only putting glue on 3 sides. And then by doing that, you're now creating 2 pockets. One to be here, which will be a little snug because you remember you're putting it on the sides, the tape or your adhesive, excuse me. And then one on the inside. Now, if you wanted to be, like if you wanted to continue it, you could definitely make a little tuck spot here and do another pocket. I'm fine with making 2, and so to do that, I'm basically just going to take my liquid adhesive again, and we're just going to do a light, small coating on the sides. And then we're gonna do the bottom. I don't want to be too generous, but I don't want to skimp either because I don't want it to fall off. But I'm just going to be doing that. And then I'm going to figure out where I want it. Now remember, if you go up too high, whatever you put in can only be a certain height. So coming down a little bit toward the bottom allows you more depth of whatever you're going to put. So let's say you wanted to create a tag and the tag is going to be really tall. You have that flexibility in doing that. Do you have to do it? No, but it gives you that choice. So I'm pretty much doing it like this. I just winged it, but if you wanted to know measurement, it looks to be like about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. I spit on my, my paper. All right, so now we have established 2 pockets when the intent was only really designed for 1. All right, so that's 1. Now, there are multiple pockets in here that we've created already, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to fill them all. What I typically am trying to do is create little goodie bags, and that way the goodie bag will have all the contents in it that someone can decorate or use, and then they can place them wherever they want. So I just like to just go through it and kind of see what kind of embellishments I could add. And I wanted to find those envelopes. Here we go. I was thinking it would be kind of cute to add like a belly band. That way it allows a tuck spot. So I thought it would be kind of neat to like tie in the whole decor onto this. And so you can do one of 2 things, because the RV here at the bottom and then this one here will cut it off. If that bothers you, you could definitely shift it down, and so then you have an even cut off and cut off. And I'm actually gonna do that because I don't think I'm gonna have an intent for this. Now the question is, which ones do we want to cut off? Choices and choices. I think I'm gonna go this way because this color of the RV hut will kind of tie in with all of the fishes. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go as close as I can to that. So in case I need to utilize this for something else, I do have that. So in this situation, I typically would have done this before I embellish it before I cinched it, because it allows you more mobility in cutting and all that stuff. So since we did not do that, the thing you want to think about is the function for it. So we have these little cards, right? These 3x4s. So think about it like this is put down, this could go here. All right, so you want to definitely make sure you put it on the edge of the top and the bottom, but you don't want to put too much where it eliminates your capability of size to put in the belly band. The other thing is, you don't have to do it upright. You could definitely do it horizontal instead of vertical. So again, your choice. It doesn't bother me when the design is a different way. Obviously, you've seen the book. So it's really your choice in the matter. What I'm gonna try to do is probably do this a little bit easier, and I need a pencil. All right, so we're gonna do a little tick mark. So what I want to do to make sure I get them positioned correctly, because that little guy is shorter than this one. Let's do it like that. So I'm just gonna mark with pencil where I want to cut it, and then I know you could probably use scissors, but if it's not a straight line, it will drive me nuts. I don't know what it is, but it will drive me nuts. Something so minimal. And so it just makes my life easier just to do it real fast. So again, I'm just gonna dry fit it on top before I commit to it, and I think that looks super cute. So now I know exactly where to mark it. So I'm gonna do it up there and then down here. And then now I'm just going to position it where I want. And then you definitely want to make sure you don't have any bleed of the glue. So I kind of squeeze it, like if it's toothpaste, and then get all the excess and then let it dry. Don't play with it, okay? I'm not gonna do anything on this side because we can put stickers or stamps or something. And then I believe there was another, here we go, another envelope. So this is in the opposite direction. So I thought this one would be kind of cool to do a belly band as well. We can do the same function. We can do it upright. Now this one doesn't have anything in regards to the little RVs, but I definitely want a specific scenery. So I want these boats in here, and this part down here doesn't really have any design. So what I'm gonna do is I really wanna then bring it down and then kind of have this other stuff. And I really like that it says beach there. So we're gonna use our pencil again, and then again do the same thing, do a little tick mark of where we wanna cut it, and then bring out your trimmer and then trim it down. And don't be afraid. I mean, I get you wanna use all your paper, but at the same time, it's like, you can't keep it all. I thought I could keep it all. In fact, I used to be like that with my vinyl, keep it all. And then one day I just got sick of all those scraps and I just threw them all away. I'm like, okay, it's done. Rip off the band-aid, it's done. This is so cute, I love it. Okay, so now we're just going to put the same thing, glue on the top and glue at the bottom. And now we have these cute little belly bands along with the envelopes. Now again, you can position this wherever you want. That's the beauty of designing your own junk journal or page or album, whatever you're working on. And again, I'm just pressing it down, getting all that excess glue out, and then you have this cute little belly band. Okay, we're done with those two things. We're done with the pocket. I think what we're gonna do next, oh, we gotta do this. Let's do this too, since we're back here. So back here we have this little bag. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it, but we did find these I'm so bored little things, and I thought it would be kind of cute to add these. Now I was hoping this wasn't big enough, and I don't think it is. So let's see. I think we can just do like cut like that. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, and I think it would be really neat. Okay, this is too long. Let's do like that. I think it's cool when they're just like random, and then we are going to push it down. And it adds that fun washi. Again, you can remove it because it's washi tape, you see? Look how easy that is. So if a person is creating this and having fun and done, then they can just remove it, throw it away. So I might add some more of these in here because I think these are kind of fun. I'm pretty sure we got this one time at Christmas at like one of those dollar bins or something, but so much fun. Okay, so now let's move on to what else? Let's do these because I'm really excited about this. So let's make, actually, no, let's do these because these might take a little bit of time and I want to make sure you guys see how to do them. All right, so I have Let's see the tattoos. I want to show you how to do these tattoos because I remember sharing it with you in the intro. And in case you did ask, and I haven't seen that comment yet, I wanted to share with you how I did it. So it would have been smart if I had a white. So you just want to get white cardstock. It doesn't really matter. You just, I mean, if you want color, that's fine too. Okay, so we're gonna get white cardstock, and then what we're gonna do is look for an image that we can add that's gonna be 1 inch. So you need your 1 inch circle punch, okay? And I think this one here is going to be perfect. So you're gonna take this and you're gonna go in here and you can kind of see how it is perfect. So I'm gonna center around it, and that's what we're gonna punch. So we're not gonna punch it yet because we wanna put it on the paper. I'm just gonna fussy cut a border around it. But at least it tells me that we can definitely go around. I'm gonna get rid of that other little notation because I don't want that to be put on here as well. And then you're gonna need either a damp towel. You're gonna either need a damp paper towel or a wipey. I'm gonna use a wipey because I think it's just quicker. And then you're gonna take off the coating for a tattoo, and you're gonna put this down on the paper. Now you definitely wanna make sure you don't put it too close to the edge because remember, we have to punch it out and we want a border because this is obviously smaller than 1 inch. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wad this up. This is a wipey, and I'm just gonna press down. So you can kind of see how the tattoo is already kind of getting wet or saturated. And again, I'm gonna push down. I don't want to oversaturate it because again, it's paper underneath. It's not a person's skin. So I just kind of want to do that a little bit to kind of get that moisture to bleed through and adhere to it. All right. And then we're just going to carefully peel to make sure that it adhered. If it didn't, then you just want to go back down. So technically it's kind of like a scratch off, or what is it called? I just used them. I totally forgot the name. Not a scratch off. It's like the, oh my God, what are they called? The rub-ons. I couldn't remember the name, guys. I just used it yesterday. Anyways, you can kind of see that some of the red kind of came off, and you know what, that's fine. Why? Because we want it to be cool and distressed and old looking. So you can kind of tell around it that it is a little bit damp, and we want to just let it dry. You can use a heat gun. I would use it probably underneath because you don't want to melt the tattoo itself. So for right now, I'm just gonna let it dry. While that is drying, I think we can also go through the stickers. Oh, and this. So remember how I told you, don't throw this away yet? Okay. So I found out that some of these things are actually a 1 inch in diameter. So what I want to do is see if we can get them. And I am basically just fussy cutting around this to see if I can get my hole puncher in there. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger, but I am going to try it anyways. And I am going to punch it. And then I think that's cute too. So I am going again to go up here to my satchel. And I'm going to see if I can get that. All right, so we'll cut it off a little bit, but that's okay. And bingo. All right, so we have 3 cute little things. So to test them out, we can definitely take our little thing here and we can put it in, and that would be so cute as one. This one would be so cute as another one, and then we're gonna punch this one out. So this one down here All right, it is what it is. And then we're going to punch this one out. And then that is with our 1-inch punch, and then this one would be here. So now here's where you have to think about what you want to do. When I did the one for the first book, I did use distress ink to color it. So that's something you want to think about. Of course, I didn't think about it. Silly me. And I didn't get those colors out. Michelle. So let's see what colors we want to use. Fire brick red. Do you think that would be a good color? So we have fire brick red. Let's see any other colors. We can go, I feel like old paper might be cute with that one. I don't know why. And then this one, I feel like rusty hinge maybe. Of course, I'm using all the ones that don't have a foam dauber. But let's try them. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our sheet of paper to confirm that they're the colors we want. So let's get some foam daubers. And we need some of these. I have another one somewhere else. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna figure out which ones are what. So let's do the old paper first. And so we're gonna use a dauber and do we have any ink on this thing? Very lightly. I'm just trying to get an idea of the color palette to see if it's something that I want to put around there. Not really feeling it. All right, so let's go with rusty hinge and see what works for that one. Okay, I like that one. So let's take it out, and what we're gonna do is we are going to kind of like bleed around it. Not bleed around it. We're just gonna massage, I guess, some of the color around the edges, just to kind of like break up that white and not do that. But I guess because of the paper being glossy, it kind of like helps move it around. All right, so kind of looks a little bit better, I think. So how we're going to put this, because I don't want to be too long here. We're going to move that. And then you're going to basically put double-sided tape on here. And then you're going to remove it off the sides. It would probably have been smarter to do the tape before, so that way when you punch it out, although I don't know if the punch would work. So then we will remove the backing. Now when you put this on, if you want the jump ring to be where it's at and it to be centered, you definitely want to make sure you're positioning it where you want it. So there we go. We have the fire stuck down. The next thing you want to do is you want one of these adhesives that will kind of make it that dome foam effect. You could use UV resin as well. I don't see a problem with that. I don't know if because you're using distress ink, if that will change the pigment. That's something you might have to think about, because distress ink is not waterproof, and the resin, you know. And then there we have it. So you can add a paper clip. I don't have any decorative clips here yet because I'm still doing the design process. But then you can, once you get it on there we go. And now you have a paperclip campfire, right? So let's do the red one because I think that one would be fun, and then we'll do the postage stamp. All right, so I think this one would be a cute color. Hopefully it works. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this one. I really like this. So we definitely want to make sure that we're not going too heavy because this is cardstock. So I'm just going around the edges. And I'm just turning it just to give it that. There we go. And we're just gonna grunge looking. All right, so now we're gonna add tape on the back. Where did it go? And we're gonna remove it. And then take off the excess. And then you're going to get this and then you're gonna peel it. And again, I don't know if this really matters which way it goes, but I kind of want it off-centered. So I'm just going to like kind of dump it like that. I think it would kind of cool with it being off-centered. And then you're gonna get another one of these, and they're just adhesive on the other side. And then you're gonna just line it up and put it down. So now we have a dinosaur feet. Now you can tell some of the tattoo has already come off, probably from me touching it with my fingers because I have oils on them. You know, we have oils on our fingers. So far we've made these two. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make this one off camera. And let's go ahead and do one of these because I really want to do one. So let's see. I got one of these Tim Holtz blocks and I thought, okay, let's put the, these are 4x6 by the way. So let's zoom in a bit. So these are 4x6 and these Tim Holtz have these little grids on them. So I thought it would be kind of neat to kind of size it so it's sat evenly so that we can design it. So what I mean by that is to take out the stamps, and while it's there placement wise, we can then design where everything should go. So like the stick, so I guess that would go here in the middle. Wait, 1 2 3 4 5, yep. So it'd be like right here in the middle. So again, I'm designing it based on where I'm gonna place it. And so I have a grid on the side as to where that block is gonna go in the top grid. So I'm gonna put that there. I think this like fancy postcard is kind of cool. And I believe this goes on this side. So we'll center that right there. And then I want to say that the lines for, oh wait, opposite, because it's gonna be turned around. All right, so that goes on that side. And then the lines for the address, we're gonna put here. Of course, it would be great if it was straight. I think that's straight. And then she has a thing for a stamp. And then we're gonna put that right there. All right, I think for right now, that is all I wanna put because I'm kind of curious how it's gonna look. So this is gonna be our dummy. And again, I'm just gonna use the VersaFine ink because it is water resistant, waterproof. And I've never used these, so obviously I didn't remove the coating like I should have. And we got ink all at the bottom. Okay. So here we go. I'm kind of curious. So I don't think it really matters the orientation. I'm just curious as to placement. So let's see how it goes. Now I have one of these air hockey sticks. I mean, that's what I call it. That's kind of cool. So here you have the postcard on one side and then you have this on the other. So that is a great sample. So we're gonna do, I have 4 of them. So I think it would be kind of cool to do some in the black ink. Where did my other, some in vintage photo, because it's oxide, so it'll be bolder. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's ink up this bad boy again. And then we can add these into the album. I think I'm gonna be making a lot of these. I think that's kind of cool. All right, so here we go again with the grid. And then I want to make sure it's all down. All right, guys, what do you think? I probably could move this up higher, but I think it's fine. And then on the other side, you have this fun. I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's make another one. All right, let's do it in the vintage photo. So I'm going to take off as much ink as possible. My question is, do we want to move anything? Do we want to change anything? Let's do the vintage photo and see what happens. All right, so let's take this one. I'm gonna go this way and we're gonna take vintage photo and we are going to ink it up. And see what it looks like with vintage photo. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, not terrible. I don't know, which one do you guys like the best? Okay, why don't we do this? Because I don't want to keep making all of these. Let's take the antique, what am I looking for? Scissors. Let's take the antique linen. So after making the album, you can kind of see what the process is afterwards. Because I mean, I feel like the part that's fun is building your ephemera and putting it all together. But it does take up time, I'm not gonna lie, because I could be sitting here for hours making things. So I guess sometimes it's always better to have things already on hand, but then again, what things are you supposed to have on hand already, you know? So it's kind of like one of those situations where you don't really know until you're working on a project. And so if you're working on similar projects time in and time out, then it probably wouldn't matter. I don't know really what I'm doing. I just wanted to see what would happen. It kind of gives it like a yellowish tint or like an aged tint. So comparing this to this, let's do this one, see what happens. It doesn't look terrible. What would be cool is if you had coffee dyed paper and then you printed it, although I don't know if you could print after it's been coffee dyed, because I would think the paper's structure would have changed. Oh, also if you have these, where is it? Also, if you have these like harsh lines, I don't know if you can kind of see where the paper took, you just take a bone folder and go like this, and then it smooths it out, kind of like brings it back down to where it needs to be. I saw someone do that and I thought, oh my god, genius. Okay, so I like them. I think they're kind of cool. Definitely would love to know your thoughts. So this was kind of just a little fun to share with you some of the techniques and stuff that I do, along with creating more things that didn't come with your kit. Just go through your stash, you know, if you're a member of anything. These backgrounds, I'll put a link if you want to know. I did get them from Creative Fabrica. I am a yearly member, so I have access to like all these designs and stuff. And so it's pretty cool. Like I just printed these out. These can definitely be pages to add to a book. If your printer is capable of printing both sides, that would be even better. Mine does. I just don't want to mess with it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. The next video will be on Friday, and that will be the final video, which I will share with you all the fun things that I added to the book, and to do the wrap up. And then hopefully I have one more option for you next week. I'm still trying to figure out what that's going to be, but hopefully by the time it's Monday again, I have already figured that out. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. I do appreciate all of you, along with your comments, your likes, your subscriptions to, not subscriptions, being a subscriber to my channel. It does make me feel really good that you guys like my content and want to see more. Have a crafty day. Find something in your room that you've been wanting to tackle. It doesn't have to be a junk journal. And hopefully this inspires you to pull that out. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.